Thomas,
Yes, Richard.
it's good to see you. Good to see you, and thank you very much for coming along and being on this podcast with me. My first one, by the way.
Is it?
It is. It is the first one.
Your first episode?
The first episode ever.
Oh my god.
I know.
Let's go.
Okay. So I want to talk.
Sorry. Good
So,
luck.
thank you.
Good luck. Oh yeah, you do this in England. We press our thumbs.
Oh, press your thumbs.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you do that?
Why do you do this?
Because it's like you cross your fingers because it's like luck, or you do that because it's
luck.
Luck. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, wait.
Should we start over
Good.
again?
Shall we start again? Okay. Hi, Thomas. How
Hey,
are you?
Richard.
Hey. Well, yeah. Oh, great. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to talk about the Bouffon. That show you've done, because we don't hear many about Bouffon shows, and now you're on tour and you're doing it in many kind of different places and different theatres, and just want to talk about the journey, how you decided to go into theatre that led you to eventually create this Bouffon show.
Okay, so it started to become a drummer, classical drummer. So I started to study classical drums, and during my last year, I met a man, Georg Wax, and I asked him the usual question, hey, so what are you doing, and he said he's a clown. And in Austria, particularly in Vienna, we don't have a big clown history.
Mm-hmm.
Clowns, we define clowns as like, how can I say, people who try to be funny, but like stupid people, not as an art form, It's really like, you clown, you silly person, just go away. And for me, it was this thing of, I knew clowning being physical comedy, being light on stage and funny. And I said, where did you learn this? And he said, there is a really nice guy in Paris, his name is Philippe Gaulier. You should go there for 2 years because it takes a while to adapt to his pedagogy.
Yes.
It's like Tamagotchi.
It is Tamagotchi. I never played it.
And so I decided to go to Paris and study with Philippe Gaulier.
And what was that like?
It was amazing because as a drummer, I've never been on stage as an actor, but I really like our cabaret scene in Austria, which is like stand-up, spoken words, cabaret, but it's very dark and grotesque and very funny in Austria. And has nothing to do with physical comedy, but I grew up also loving Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, so I was really looking forward to the time with Philippe. And on the first or second day when I was on stage, he said like, we have another Nazi in our school, because I was so heavy, and I was, and I didn't know what to take out of this feedback. So it took me a while to understand that he's teasing everybody with their origin, whether they're from Australia or Mexico. He always takes the prejudice and makes fun of this, So it takes a while. And then in the first year, we just had like workshops, Mars, characters, writing and directing, Greek tragedy, and other stuff. And I wasn't really good on stage compared to the other ones who already studied acting before. And so I was like, wait for clown, in my head, wait for clown. And then in second year, the first workshop was clown, and I was really not good. Like, we weren't a good clown class. There were one or two who were funny all the time, but as a group, and particularly myself, I was trying to be funny and not being actual fun. And the second trimester was vaudeville, like Georges Feder pieces. After clown, I was like devastated. I spent so many days and euros to come to Paris. I enjoyed the city, didn't care so much about school. And then the last one was Bouffon. And we were a great Bouffon group because we liked to tease each other, outside of school and everything. And we had this also, like, we wanted to say something. As a clown, you make people laugh and everything, and you can say something in a poetic language, but to really state an issue you have, being in this world with politicians, with social things which are not really helping the ones who are weak in society and stuff. And so we really challenged Philippe very hard to go far with us in this subject. And then we decided, 6, 7, 8 people in our class, let's go to Bristol and create a theatre Bouffon piece and a theatre group and let's do something together, which we did. Our first show was called From the Cradle to the Bin, and we found one scene in school, and we developed a whole story around this, and we went on tour. There was people from Malaysia, Canada, me, Austria, Switzerland, and England, and we toured throughout the UK in 2014. But I already knew, and I always knew from the very first time I saw Bouffon, we'll work in Vienna, in Austria, because we love dark humor and funny things on stage and music. And so I found this text, Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift, and I thought that's a great, how do you say, like base to build a show on top. Like the question is, do we eat people nowadays as well? And we do, you know, all our cell phones have batteries, which young poor kids in Africa have to work for it. The World Cup in Qatar was built on victims and dead bodies. And so our wealth in our first world country is based on eating people. And so we asked ourselves this question, and we wrote a Bouffon piece around this question about how can we took the story of a foreigner trying to become Austrian, but he goes to different places where he gets treated really badly by Austrians, and then of course he held a very Austrian monologue. I want to be here, I'm dying to be Austrian, and of course he's dying. And then we eat him. Because it would be a shame to live in a first world country and not be dealing with sustainability. So why throw him away when we still can get something from him?
You performed this to a German-speaking audience and an English?
No, just German-speaking.
Just German.
Because the language is German and Austrian, like dialect things. So that's another thing which people like the show, is because normally in Austria we have this German language in theater. You have to learn the pronunciation and everything. Because to fill the hall, you know, it's a technique, but it also kind of creates a distance between me and the persons on stage. And as I told you, this stand-up cabaret form in Austria, it's dialect, pure dialect. And so I thought we have to do this to be closer to the audience, you know, and to take characters from Austrian Viennese society to put them on stage, so people can rely and say, I know this person, of course I know this person. So we toured around Austria, but it's just for German-speaking audience.
And how did that get received?
Good.
Good.
Really good. They love it, because they never saw anything like this. You know, I discovered Bouffon in Paris, and it's a thing Lecoq invented to help the students free themselves by putting up this makeup and this pillows, and you know, to make yourself a full body mask and to hide behind the mask, and to be like dirty, to say bad words, to be like something you're not supposed to be on stage. Dirty on the outside, but very charming and very light on the inside, you know. That Austrian people never saw anything like this. And then we have the dialect, we have the word games, we have music in it. It's very fast, and it's direct, it's no fourth wall, you know. We play with the audience, and it's 60 minutes like full on theater, including the audience, and that's something they never experienced. And so therefore they walk out with a smile, but also, you know, oh shit, we laughed at stuff we shouldn't laugh. So they also think about the story, and that's the whole thing. They really love it.
Bouffon is a comedy, right? So it's, I mean, a lot of the time TV series comedies are only like 20 or 25 minutes, and if it's a theatre show, they'll have music and stuff. Do you have music in your show?
We have a double bass player, a friend of mine, a classical musician who is just really funny on stage, so he plays the double bass, and ukulele player, and all of us sing very well, so we can do 3-4 voices of singing as well, and I play drums, you know, and so we use this as well to make heavy topics very light. So the juxtaposition is a really important and strong tool in Bouffon. You show something, but it's said in a completely different way, or the other way around, you know. And so this, what interests me the most is to find most opposite way of seeing something and hearing something. And so yeah, music has to be a part of it as well.
And especially when you're performing in today's world, do you feel like you have to pull back, be careful what you say, or?
Yeah, there was one joke one actor, she's very young, one actress said, I'm not going to do it because it was maybe too far.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the other one, the thing was that they never played Bouffon in front of a group, an audience, so they were a little bit, not coward, but they didn't trust me and the mask to say like, okay, I can say bad things, and people will still laugh and don't think it's me, the actor. And it took, as I said, like 10, 12, 14 shows with a mistake they made on stage, by accident, where one was saying a much like a horrible word instead of a normal one, and people were laughing, and we're like, okay, they're still laughing at this one, so okay, how far can we go? So it's always testing the boundaries, but it's good to have this political or this awareness of that we live in a different world than 10 years ago, to see all the aspects of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good we have a 24-year-old one and a 49-year-old one, so all of in between are different ages, and we have this new view and this older view and all of between, so we really like a fish, you would cut it and see where all the bits and pieces, and then we build the joke around to see, okay, it still works like this, and young people and old people are not offended, but they still laugh and catch themselves laughing about a joke they shouldn't.
Which is quite healthy, I would say.
It's cathartic.
Yeah.
It's really cathartic to laugh about something, of anything, because that's the strong part of parodies. Nothing is secure.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is sacred to parody. You can parody anything. Now you have to choose, okay, what would we like to parody? But this whole experience of laughing together, it relieves stress and everything, and you just feel different.
I think it was John Cleese, he said something like that. It's not verbatim, but he said something like, it's in our DNA. I think comedy was designed in our DNA for a release for all things horrible.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something really crucial today that we need. And it's great that you're doing it. And also, what isn't talked about a lot is like Philippe, you can't find much books on him, except for the books that he wrote. And you can't find much research. And Bouffon is the same. And why do you think that is?
I have no idea. A lot of people, when they finish Gaulier, they tend to go into the art form of clowning, because Philippe is this great clown master. And I have really no idea why so little people do Bouffon after they leave school. I mean, there is Sacha Baron Cohen, then the guy Red Bastard, and that's it. As far as I know, there is a woman in Germany who gives workshops, but doesn't do a show. And so I have absolutely no idea. I mean, you have to have a certain way of humor, of allowing yourself to laugh about things you shouldn't, and it's all in your head to say, okay, how far can I at least allow myself in my head to think about jokes or laugh about things, then see, okay, how can I implement them into society and put them on stage and still not offend the weak, but attack bastards. And something, I think it's a character thing, but I have no idea why it's just a handful of people doing this.
But there is many people who have been affected by his teachings and stuff. And from that point of view, what was the biggest thing that you got from Philippe's school and his teachings?
One of the best things I like is that he treats everybody the same. It doesn't matter for me. Like in my case, I didn't do anything acting before, and somebody who was really, really good all the times, but still had moments where he was just shit. And he treats everybody the same. and the bar is so high that he wouldn't say like, oh Thomas, I know you're not familiar with the techniques, so you do great. No, it's like you're shit, everybody's shit, and everybody's good if they had a good moment. So there were no egos in our class, and it made our group so human that it was this group dynamic was so nice that Philippe was the only bastard, you know. We had one common bastard after school, like, he was mean to this one, or we thought his feedback wasn't right because you were good and stuff. So he established himself as the one you would think of being this bastard, you know, but not with each other in the group. So that that was a good thing to put you as a teacher in this position of like, if you have any problem, it's me, and you have the problem with me, but not underneath in the group, you know. And that was what I really liked. And the other one is discovering the word you have to discover. I hated so much during these 2 years that he always said, you have to discover, you know. And we tend to, no, you're the teacher, you tell me what to do. And he said, no, you have to discover. And after these 2 years, when I as well started the journey of exploring Bouffon, you really like, oh. And then when I also started to teach other things, I then discovered why Philippe said this feedback. You know, there was a clock on the wall, and if somebody did something on stage which was boring, he would look at the clock, you know, and look at you and look at the clock. And then many years later, I find myself in a show, and I was checking my clock, and I was like,
Yeah, check their watch, yeah.
So that was a moment, like his feedback became clearer when I was teaching as well and trying to discover stuff. And Bouffon as a third, you know, like this art form is so hidden somewhere and should be like put into the light of theatre on stages, because it's beautiful.
Definitely is. And you mentioned the word beautiful, and I just wanted to talk about that because Philippe talks about like two things, like the beautiful actor and the beautiful space. What do you think he means by that?
Humanity. It's about humanity. He always says like you are hiding behind something and you don't show your humanity. And in clowning, it's the flop. Like when you tell the audience that in this moment I'm not funny. I should be funny, but I'm not. And this is showing that you're not superhuman, that you're not a Greek god, you know, like that you're just as human as everybody else. And this is difficult because you want to say you want to protect yourself on stage, because as a musician it's easy. I have my drum set or my viola or something, you know, and it's always the instrument and me, you know. And as actors, it's you, this thing, you know. And also it's difficult for audience member to say like, okay, you, Richard, said something on stage which is a character, and I don't think that you're the same as your character, but you are Richard on stage, you know what I mean? And that's a little tricky for all of us, you know, as well as for young actors to say, okay, I leave now my world and go on stage, and whatever happens on stage is this thing, and then I'm back myself, you know, is something which defines the word beauty on stage.
A lot of people go back to do his workshops, and it is addictive because you want someone to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
If you've only just got the vulnerability or the humanity to deal with that. I haven't seen that anywhere else, and I don't think anyone else can, you know, has that capacity that I've seen.
I'm really thinking about Bouffon since 2010 or 11, you know, or especially from 2012 when we started our theatre company in England, and I after every workshop I learn much more than the students who come to my workshops. So after all these years, I think I found a way of like a 10 steps plan, you know, to approach Bouffon. But then in the end, it's always different because regarding of the group. But it's for me that it's a form of mask play. That's the first thing, that you define your whole body as a mask. So it's from the red nose mask to the comédie de l'art to the neutral mask to the full Bouffon mask. And not Bouffon yet, it's just a mask, okay? So that's the first step. And then we just play around, discovering what you can do as a living Picasso image. And therefore we start to parody everybody, you know, everything. Like we start with a catwalk thingy, you know, or influencers on Instagram, whatever comes across. And the next step, which makes it Bouffon, is that we try to use this mask and parody the bastards, parody people who are in power, but not helping the poor. And so as long as you don't make a point which you declare that something is not right or treats society badly, it's not Bouffon. So it's trying how far can you kick up the hierarchy, and this is the step for me to where the Bouffon kicks in, because he's the lowest and he tries to like kick up the highest. And so like from getting to this character to the parody and back and forth, this is then something Bouffonesque.
And it's interesting you say like the Bouffon, the mask is the whole costume, which is great because it's the flip side of the clown, which is the red nose.
It's the smallest nose.
The smallest mask with the biggest mask.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. And also, how important is movement for you? I'm coming from more of a movement perspective. So with Bouffon or in theatre, how do you approach that, or is it just random?
No, it's not random. It's interesting. Each workshop, people tend, when they put up the makeup and the black teeth, you know, and being this dirty people or stuff, they tend to go like this, you know, and then it takes a while to say, no, just play with your eyes, play with your nose, play with your lips and something, and see how strong the mask is, and see how tiny you have to move your body in order to make us think or imagine and question marks around you, you know. And then from the small movements, we just make like one hand is fixed point and all the other body's moving, parts are moving, and then we discover the whole body, like putting a rope around your knees, so you're limited in movement, so you have to help with something else, you know. And therefore we explore a lot of different kind of movements without words, but building stories around it, and for them to see that acting has little to do with what you say with your words, but more with your body. Because everybody thinks, I have to say intelligent words and sentence, which writers already did, you know. You just have to find a way to engage with your body and let the body speak, and not just the words, you know. And therefore Bouffon is a great help, because you are limited. Sometimes we put the hands in our things and just the elbow, or you have this huge
hump,
and you just speak with your hump, you know.
Yeah.
You do like and stuff like this. So it's about the creativity with your limitation, which helps to discover new things.
If you're going to, pass on some advice to our viewers or listeners who are watching and stuff, what are the 3 things they could take away for, in particular, an actor and in the theatre?
Well, I would say like being light on stage, and humor helps a lot. So it doesn't matter if you do Greek tragedy or Shakespeare or anything else which leads into the tragedy direction. Do clowning, do comédie de l'art, do Bouffon. Make fun of yourself, make fun of the topic, make fun of each other in a very safe rehearsal space where you can say at least 5 minutes, we're just gonna have fun. Because it lightens up your mood, it helps you discovering new things, and you know the line between tragedy and humor is always very small and little. And it just releases all of the pressure and tension. And you will find something in each text which has a comedy note. And so humor helps a lot, and discovering lightness through humor. The second thing I would say is like try as many things as you can do in life, and on stage, of course. So either if you flop or if you don't succeed, or people say, oh no, it's shit, or it's not good, don't take it as personally, you know, it's just the thing you did in this right moment isn't working, but it's not you as a human being, you know. So it's just dealing with this mindset of okay, stage is a very nice thing, and if I flop, I just get up again, and I flop and I get up again. And the often you do it, the more comfortable it gets, and the quicker you're back in the game, saying, okay, just didn't work, let's try another thing. And it can be difficult and challenging in the beginning, of course, I know it myself, but when you smell this little air of freedom on stage, and you feel like, oh, I'm feeling more space, and I like it, then it's starting to be something fantastic. And the third thing is being playful with each other, like as I said, via humor, but also being playful with your body, with the text, with your voice, with everything around you and your mates. Just have a good time, and don't take actor lives so serious. It's not. It's a game, and it's not life. Life is something else, and you have to divide those two, you know, because you tend to bring your things on stage, but it's not. It's this this playground of things you can discover. Many other things. This would be my top 3 of getting into the mindset of why acting can be beautiful, and a really cool job with all the other things in the back. But it's just having pleasure. That's it. And I had so much pleasure being with you.
No, thank you very much. I had pleasure being with you too, Thomas. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. Invoice me. Yeah. Coming up after this. Get right,